Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm Boosted John and I have blown up 6 engines and spent tens of thousands of dollars building my 1993 Honda Civic EG hatchback. And through all that pain and suffering, I have learned one crucial lesson. Today I'm going to share the story of how I learned this lesson, exactly what lesson I learned, and how you guys can learn from my mistakes to hopefully save yourselves a lot of pain and suffering on your own builds. 4 or 5 years ago, I bought my 1993 Honda Civic EG hatchback for $2,500 from a guy out in Rockford, Illinois. The car came with a bone stock LS engine or a B18 B1 engine. It comes out of an Integra LS. It's a 1.8 liter non-VTEC Honda 4-cylinder. It's probably the most boring Honda B series that exists. And since it doesn't rev very high and doesn't have VTEC, most people make these engines fun by turbocharging them. And that's exactly what I did when I bought mine. I went straight to eBay. I bought a $650 eBay turbo kit. I installed the turbo kit with my friend Caleb out of his shop and we finished it in like a week. So now the car is running and driving with a turbo LS engine and it needs to be tuned. And I've heard really good things about a guy named Mikey. He runs a company called Mikey Spec here in Illinois. And I have literally only been told to go to Mikey. But right when it came time to get the car tuned, I got offered a deal from another tuner who was going to give me a big discount if I obviously filmed all the stuff and put it on my channel and kind of like promoted him as a tuner. So I didn't take the car to Mikey, I took the car to another tuner and he tuned the car and it made 225 wheel horsepower on a really bad turbo setup and a bone stock Integra LS engine. The car was fun, I had an absolute blast with it, but I did have a lot of issues with the car. It had literally completely unrelated to the tune. It just like kept having little issues. I was very new to Honda. I was very new to like modifying cars in the first place. So I didn't really know what was going on. And I just kind of panicked and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull this LS out for no reason and rebuild it. I'm gonna make a LS VTEC engine and I'm gonna do full forged internals and we're gonna make a ton of power and it's gonna be bulletproof. And I basically was doing it to bulletproof the car and just make it so I could make like 400 wheel, 350, 400 wheel, something like that, and just never worry about it blowing up. God, if only I knew what was in store for me. So I pulled the stock LS, I tore it down in my grandma's garage, and I found that 1 or 2 of the ringlands had cracked on the stock LS engine at only 225 wheel horsepower. I don't think that's supposed to happen. Anyway, didn't really chalk it up too much. I was already rebuilding the engine anyway, so I didn't really care. So after like 8 or 9 months of waiting for everything to come together, I finally built the LS VTEC and I took it back to the same tuner. We made like 370 or 380 horsepower to the wheels. It was really fast for me, super fun, absolutely loved the setup. But one day I was driving home on the highway and I decided to absolutely send it. Every single gear, full red line pull. I was basically almost at the top of 5th. I was going B miles per hour on my speedometer, and all of a sudden there was a big misfire and then the car ran like absolute garbage all the way home. Got it home, pulled all the spark plugs, found that cylinder number 3 spark plug had shattered and exploded into the cylinder. I checked down there with a borescope to see if I could see any material from the spark plug. It was gone, but what I found was unexpected. Not just cylinder number 3, but also I believe cylinder number 1 had melted and cracked the valve reliefs on the top of the piston. Now that's not supposed to happen. That happens with excessive heat, timing being too advanced. Like there's so many things that could cause that. There's a lot of variables, but it's definitely not supposed to happen. At the time, I chalked it up to my radiator was kind of having issues at the time. It was an older radiator and it was sometimes overheat. And I had just done B miles per hour down the highway. So maybe there was just too much heat in the engine from stuff that I did. So that's just where I left it. So 2 pistons are shot, motor's shot. I replaced the 2 pistons that were messed up and then threw it right back on the dyno with the same tuner. Made about 420 horsepower to the wheels, but we couldn't really finish the tune because I had put the head gasket on backwards. And it was leaking oil into cylinders number 4 and number 3. Mostly into cylinder number 4, but a little bit into cylinder number 3. So I took the car home to replace the head gasket, and when I pulled the head off, what I found was, let's just say, caca. All 4 pistons had melted and cracked at the valve reliefs. All 4 pistons. Now here's the deal. I don't care how much oil leaked into cylinder number 3 and number 4. Number 1 and number 2 had 0 oil leakage into them. and the valve reliefs were cracked and melted. That is not a result of oil leaking into the cylinders. That is a result of too much heat, too much timing, and that just ain't right. So after that, I was done giving the benefit of the doubt. That was just for sure in my head the last time I would ever be tuning with that tuner. You guys came through hard and raised a ton of money to rebuild that engine. I was gonna give up on that engine completely. I was just gonna put something in it and go NA. But you guys came through. I sent the motor back out to a machine shop to have the bottom end reassembled, and in the meantime, I picked up a stock $500 LS engine, so like B18, B1. I picked up another one because it was super cheap, and I figured in the meantime, I'll throw this stock LS in, I'll rip it around with my current turbo kit, I'll have some fun, and then I'll use this stock LS engine as like a jig to assemble and build a brand new turbo kit for the car, so that way, once my built motor came back, I could just bolt the new turbo kit right onto a built motor LS VTEC, take it to the dyno, and full send. The whole goal with the $500 LS engine was to eventually blow it up. I was gonna do some kind of experiment with it on YouTube and try to make some viral video of like, can an engine run with Kool-Aid in the cooling system or something? I don't know, I was gonna do something really dumb. Unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to do that. I took it out to do some street tuning with one of my friends who does street tunes, and he's a super good dude. We're still very good friends. So I took it out to him and we were ripping around. We pushed him like 13 pounds of boost through the stock LS. I think I was still on 93 octane pump gas, and the car was absolutely screaming. Had a really fun time street tuning it, absolute blast. We both learned a lot from it. And then on the way home, I raced an FK8 Type R just on the highway, and I was absolutely giving him the gap when it started misfiring and I lost power on cylinder number 3. Still gapped him on 3 cylinders with a stock LS. That's how much power that engine was pushing. So took that engine home, took it apart, and found again, melted pistons, melted valve reliefs. Just again, another engine destroyed. Now we fast forward to present day. I have a stock B18 C1 Integra GSR engine in my EG hatch. It has pushed over 500 wheel horsepower and run an 11.000 second pass at the drag strip on a stock internal GSR. You know what the one single difference is between my current setup and my previous setup? The tuner. When I put this stock GSR in the car, I was done playing around and I finally took the car over to Mikey, and that has been the absolute best decision that I've made with my EG hatch in the entire time that I've owned it. The lesson that I learned from all of my pain and suffering is do not play around with tuning. Don't street tune the car yourself. Don't start messing with fuel tables, don't start messing with timing, don't start messing with Honda. Do your research, find a reputable tuner who is making good numbers and keeping cars alive. Take a car straight to that tuner and get it done right. I guess if I'm being completely honest, the real lesson I learned is just stay all motor. Save yourself all this trouble. I have spent probably over 10 grand on engines and freaking pistons and rods, and dude, if I had just built like a sick K all motor setup, dude, oh my God. Yeah, it would have cost like a little bit less than probably all the money I've spent doing what I'm doing. But I guess I wouldn't have learned all the stuff I learned, and I wouldn't be making this video here for you guys, and hopefully saving you guys some trouble with your own setups. Guys, I can't recommend Mikey Spec enough. If you are Illinois, Chicago local, please hit him up on Instagram, link in the description down below. He has been an absolute savage and kept my car running like an absolute beast this entire time. That's my story. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something, and please take what I'm saying seriously, because I'm going to save you thousands of dollars and tons of heartache if you listen. I'm sure there's people out there that are like, oh, well, duh, obviously take your car to a good tuner, duh. But dude, the same people that are saying that are probably the same people that have gone through what I've gone through myself. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please click that thumbs up and also click that subscribe button down below. I do appreciate it a lot. It helps my video do better in the algorithm, which supports my small business. Speaking of supporting my small business, if you guys would consider checking out YouTube memberships, the link is in the pinned comment down below. Members of the Boosted John YouTube channel get access to every single video early. So the next video is already live for channel members. They're already able to watch it. And there's other awesome perks that you can check out in the pinned comment down below. Thank you for your support. We deserve nothing, earn everything.